if the Browns decide to stay at 2 and not pick a quarterback,
yes,
who would you want them to take?
So I had to think about this a little bit because I've been all over the place this offseason. Right during bowl season, man, Abdul Carter made a splash, in my opinion. Like, I love watching his film and just his game in general. The more I thought about it, I went, our offense stinks. And obviously we have a quarterback problem, but like, we've gotten old and the weapons are kind of old or unreliable.
Or just non-existent.
I think we think we have something nice in Jerry Jeudy. At least in my opinion, I would say there's at least there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
David Njoku, nice tight end, but like after that, like,
but after that,
and so I and we'll see how things play out and stuff like that. So I decided maybe go with the Cincinnati approach. Maybe you take, like a Jamar Chase. And I'm not saying this guy is Jamar Chase, but I'm saying that this guy is a weapon. And I'll just say it. I'm going to say Tet McMillan from Arizona.
Tetairoa.
Yeah. There you go. Yep. So just the more I've like watched stuff on him, and then you like hear his pro comps. Like his pro comps are T. Higgins and Drake London. We could use a little T. Higgins, Drake London action on the Cleveland Browns. Super long, lanky kid. Like, I think he's 6'4", 215, like high point, super athletic. His route running is nice. They said it could be worked on a little bit, but his route tree for the most part is pretty complete. He's a serious weapon. I think about him like, and you can run any of the rest, X, Y, Z, slot, whatever wherever you want him at, this guy can line up wherever. I look at it as a playmaker. Give me a 6'4" guy in the red zone to throw to with David Njoku. And then you have Jerry Jeudy streaking all over the place. And, I just when you start looking at his tape and stuff like that, he's legit. Does he need work? Yes. Is he a home run? Is he like a Justin Jefferson or like a Jamar Chase where it seems like this dude's just going to come out and just get shot out of a cannon? And
they didn't even know Justin Jefferson was going to be a home run. He was picked for the 20s or something?
Yeah. What? 17, 16?
Yeah, I know it was later. Yeah.
Yep.
You never know.
But I mean, like as far as like the Jamar Chase, like as the draft strategy,
this is
like
the clear wide receiver
weapon
one,
and then get your quarterback. If we're not going to take the quarterback, where that was my rationale with it. If we're not going to take the quarterback, who's very, very important and throwing the ball to said players, might as well go get the player that's going to catch it on the other end. Now, like, you could take this kid, and if we don't have a quarterback, it doesn't really matter. But in this exercise, I would say add a weapon to the offense. The offense is very stagnant, very vanilla, lacks explosiveness, lacks even separation as far as the wide receiver room. Throw this kid in the mix.
So if I'm the Browns and I take quarterback at 2, or if, I trade up and I take Cam Ward at 1, whatever, then I'm going to take the closest thing to Ted McMillan that at least that I've seen through like looking through these prospects and everything at 33. And I'm taking Trey Harris out of Ole Miss.
I know that you like this kid.
I love Trey Harris. I think he's going to be a freaking baller, alpha dog, wide receiver in the NFL. But if I'm the Browns, or if the Browns are at 2, they're not taking a quarterback, I would want them to come. See, you picked the wide receiver 2 of this class with Tet McMillan. I want the wide receiver 1. I want Travis Hunter. Interesting notes. Travis Hunter definitely at the combine talked heavily about how he wants to play 100% of the snaps both ways. Well, dude, there ain't no way. Not going to happen. Impossible. You will get hurt. I promise. And you won't be as effective at either position. So a lot of buzz that he primarily wants to be used as a cornerback, or that's kind of his top position. But I see so many scouts talking about he's not the best cornerback in this class, but he is the best wide receiver. And from watching Shedeur Sanders tape, I'm like, okay, he's a good quarterback. Travis Hunter's freaking awesome. He is. Yeah. You want to talk about a Jamar Chase talent? Yeah. When this guy gets the ball in his hands, you can't tackle him. He's shifty. He's wiggly. I mean, and he's fast and he can run routes. He can separate. He can catch. He's a dog on the field. And
the catch radius is crazy. Like I don't think anything in his direction is uncatchable.
No, me either.
Depending on how off angle it is.
Yeah. And interesting from the combine, Andrew Berry was asked, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but he was asked about Travis Hunter and he said, exceptional athlete, generational, all that kind of stuff. And he said, I would use him primarily as a wide receiver. And I thought that was interesting that all the buzz is about Travis Hunter being a cornerback with some wide receiver reps mixed in. And Andrew Berry's out here like, no, I want him at wide receiver. And that's where I would want him because while he's great at both positions and you can use him sparingly on defense, but absolutely, I want him on offense.
I mean, it's a nice luxury. You have a solid, he might be the one on our team. We don't we've got a 8-9 game sample of Jerry Jeudy looking great. And then it's a little blurry in between there. You know what I mean? We'd like to believe we got a guy. This is a guy that he is a stud, super athletic. And then, like you said, let's say there's some big plays here and there. You know what I mean? You can slide this guy in on defense, a big play here, where you need to have a stop.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, tight game.
You know what I mean? You can slide this kid in. I mean, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So you're a Ted at 2 and I'm a Hunter at 2 and Blake, I believe
I would say in that situation, if I'm taking Ted, I'm trading back though.
Well, let's talk about, let's talk about that then, because that was going to be the next question that I wanted to kind of go around here was,
okay,
the Browns. So we've already gone over what do we want to do at 2? Do we want to trade up at 1? What if the Browns decide not to go quarterback at 2? Who would we want? What if the Browns decide we're trading back? How far would you trade back and who is the target for you?
I don't think we were all kind of talking about this earlier. I don't think you can trade back farther than 4 because New England, that would be a great landing spot for McMillan, with Drake May. They're obviously not taking a quarterback. I don't think you can risk going back farther than that, but I hate the trade back. I know, it's the gather the picks, I don't want us to do that. I know that we need to acquire picks and back from what we lost over the last 3 years, but every time I've watched the Browns do that, which is every year for my entire life, it fucking burns us. And we look dumb as shit and people talk crap about our team. And it's been like this for my entire life.
Yeah, man.
So in my opinion, if we're on the clock, I don't want us to trade back because I'd rather us go, we screwed that pick up, but at least we took the pick. At least we didn't trade back and then we end up with Justin Gilbert. No thanks. I'm cool. I'll just take my chances on these guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. And just as a note, I think the most likely thing that happens, Browns stay put at 2 and pick either a quarterback or best available on their board because Andrew Berry rarely trades up and he rarely trades back. I mean, he's only traded back a few times and it was kind of the year we went back and ended up with Martin Emerson in the 3rd. We didn't have a pick till the 3rd that year. I think that was the year we traded the 2nd for Elijah Moore. And then the only time I think we've really traded up for anything substantial was to go get JOK
in the
2nd round.
Yep.
So I think that's the most likely. But if they did trade back, I'd be a little willing to risk a little more to go to 6 with the Raiders because I'm just kind of looking the order here. If the Giants trade up to 1 and they take Cam Ward, then, say we trade with the Raiders, they come up and they take Shador. And then Tennessee's at 3. They get Abdul Carter, which is what they probably wanted. New England, they could take Ted or they could take Travis Hunter.
Sure.
So one of those two guys is still on the board. Jacksonville could take one of those receiver guys, but they've got they've got big holes on their defense. They could take Mason Graham, or they could take Will Johnson, the cornerback, or whatever, the top defender that's still on the board. And then that puts us at 6. And now we're sitting there going, okay, we can either take Tet's on the board or Hunter or Mason Graham or Will Johnson. And even at 7 with the Jets wouldn't be bad either because we're, a handful of those guys are still going to be on the board. So anywhere within that top 7, if they do trade back, which I don't want them to, don't mistake me here. Don't want that to happen. but they could still land a pretty good player if they do that.
I'm not going to lie. If it's draft night and we trade back or we trade out on 2, I'm going to be devastated.
Dude, the draft night's going to be interesting because the Browns pick so early in the night that they could fuck up the rest of the night for us on the show.
Oh, yes. I wouldn't put it past them one bit.
I mean, they trade back to like 17 or something. We might just shut it off and say, all right, live stream over. Yeah. We're not even going to stick around.
Yeah, we traded out of the first.
Yeah.
We picked up an extra 6th. Cool, guys. All right, I'm just going to get the hell out of here later.
Man. I will say one thing. I mean, when it comes to trading, Andrew Berry usually gets the most bang for his buck with his trades.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Now, obviously, whoa, I can hear everybody screaming, Deshaun Watson, that was a bust.
That was a bad one.
If Deshaun Watson comes here and plays quarterback the way everybody thought he still could, because remember, 16 teams tried to trade for him, or at least inquired. 4 teams submitted trade packages that were accepted. I don't know how many teams submitted trade packages that were rejected. Right. You know, we always talk about the 4 teams that tried to trade for him. There were probably a lot more. They just weren't accepted. Everybody's going after this guy because of what they thought he could do. So really, I mean, if Deshaun came here and played that way, those 3 first-round picks wouldn't have mattered a damn bit to us. We'd be so pumped, you know?
I remember us saying, all we need is just moderately decent quarterback play, and we're going to be great. Well, we didn't get that, unfortunately.
Instead, we got league bottom.
And we got a 3-14 record for our good fandom services, you know.
Yeah, we did. We got the number 2 overall pick by the good graces of the Giants, winning a late game last year with Drew Lock that they had no business winning. If I was a Giants fan, I'd have been so mad about that. And it's like, go take your quarterback. You got gifted this number 2 pick. You sucked balls all year, and you got gifted the number 2 pick. Think about that.
Yep.
You know, there were still teams that were playing worse than you, and you were terrible. And you still got the 2 pick. Use it. Use it on a quarterback because that's what's holding you back the most. And if it's Shador and it doesn't work, or it's Cam and it doesn't work, like Blake says all the time, then you're right back in the spot for getting a quarterback next year anyway. So who cares? Just, you got to try.